Hi guys, and welcome to another video from Stupid is the Norm, the channel where we demonstrate how to become a millionaire in 10 years on minimum wage. And in this video I'm going to explain to you why it is that 90% of the people believe they have to go to work. I had a conversation with a mate of mine recently, and I said to him, Jimmy, why do you go to work? And he said, to pay the bills, same as everybody else. I said, to pay the bills, that's why you go to work. That's why you go to work for age 18 to 67, 49 years, just to pay the bills. Yeah, that's what everybody does. Well, then what? Well, then you retire, if you can afford to. And what if you can't afford to? Well, then I suppose you just keep on working, don't you? But think about it, why do you go to work? Why do people work 49 years? It's 49 years, more than half your life. Why do we do it? Well, it's because we've been indoctrinated from a very early age into believing that's the only alternative. There is no other alternative. You just go to work for 49 years and that's it, and you retire if you're lucky. Starts quite young on. I mean, do you remember the first time you asked your mum, I don't want to go to school, why do I have to go to school? And what did she say? She says, you've got to go to school because that's how you learn how to get a good job, and that's how you make lots of money. And then it continued through school because, again, school is not there to prepare you for life, it's there to prepare you for the workplace. It's there so you can get a good job. And the teachers didn't know any different because they were indoctrinated too from an early age. I mean, no teacher ever said, you don't need to go to university, what are you doing studying for? You don't need university if all you want to be is wealthy. It's just not necessary. No teacher ever said that because they didn't know there was an alternative. And then when you go into the workplace, it's continued, the indoctrination continues there. You're almost forced to have a workplace pension. I've got a friend of mine who works in HR, and she says it is very, very difficult to opt out of a workplace pension because the government wants you in it for all those working years so they don't have to provide a pension when you eventually, if you're lucky enough, to retire. So you've got to have this workplace pension. And again, the workplace pension is there, and they'll tell you you have to be in it right from the very start, right from age 18, right until you retire if you want anywhere near a decent pension, which for most people is about half pay. But you truly don't need to work 49 years. There are lots of people that don't. I mean, when I say lots, probably about 10% of the population. And they are the mavericks, that people like us who will break away from the herd. Although we haven't been told, we haven't been trained, we just know there's got to be something different. There's got to be an alternative to working 49 years then retiring on half pay. But of course there are alternatives. We see them everywhere. And I'm not talking about the luminaries of the business world like Dyson, Steve Jobs and Bezos, when he was alive, Steve Jobs of course, Elon Musk and the like. They're the outliers, they're freaks of nature. We aren't going to be one of them, but there's plenty of people like me and you who are doing things differently. There's a book on our website, stupidisthenorm.co.uk, and go to the download section. There's a free ebook there called How to Retire at 30. Now, the principles in there are designed for someone who's leaving school at 18 and wants to retire at 30, but you can start at 30 and retire at 42 if you wish. The same principles apply. So if you haven't read that book, go across there and download that now. Now, no conspiracy theorist, so I'm not suggesting that the Illuminati are indoctrinating us on purpose, that there's some big master plan by some James Bond villain out there who wants to keep us down there, the masses, and be downtrodden so we don't learn things, the Illuminati, That's a load of bollocks, that. It's just that if you're trying to manage a system like the government does, and you're trying to educate people, and you try to get people in the workplace to make the country better, then sending out one message is the easiest way to do it. You don't give too many alternatives, because if you give lots of alternatives, people won't do it. So they get you in the education system, they'll teach you what it is you have to know in order to get a job, then we'll get you in there and they'll sell you one pension. They won't mention the alternatives like ISAs and stock exchange and properties because it just blurs the message. They'll just give you the one message and they'll shove, because it's a message for the masses, but we aren't the masses, we are the individuals, we are the mavericks. So if you don't want to push through the suck for 49 years, you don't have to. You can retire in 10 years, in 20 years. It's up to you guys. Don't be stupid and don't be normal.